You should lie. Now, the most important document for a GKS scholarship will always be your personal statement. Now, a lot of people are panicking. That is for sure, because they know the value that a personal statement has. But I'm here to share with you guys some tips on how to write a good personal statement. If you guys look at the guidelines for the GKS, they have mentioned things that you should include in your personal statement. We have motivation to which you apply for the program, your educational background, significant experience you have had, a person or events that have had a significant influence on you, if applicable, to describe an award you have received, publication you have made, or skills you have acquired, extracurricular activities, community service, work experience, and extra documents if you have any. Now, the biggest mistake for people is thinking that they have to include every single thing on this document. The scholarship recognizes the fact that some people might not have done community service, they might have not had any work experience, they might have not won any awards. What you can do is maximize what you have to prove that you're actually the best for the scholarship. I personally have not received any awards. I have not published any document. I didn't do any community service, but I did have things that were apart from this that I used to my best advantage. For example, I had already been studying the Korean language by the time I applied for the scholarship. And I mentioned the fact that I was somewhat familiar with the Korean language. So it meant that they wouldn't have to spend a lot of money on me on the Korean language year. And you know that these people, they don't want to spend too much money, even if it's a scholarship. If they can find someone for this scholarship that they're not going to spend too much money on compared to the other person, they're gonna pick you. So if they feel like you're capable of getting a topic 3 within 6 months instead of a year, they're gonna pick you over someone who has like zero knowledge of the Korean language and is sure to take 1 whole year to do the Korean language course. You have to have something that you can use to maximize your chances of being accepted for this scholarship. And another tip I can share with you guys is that your first sentence in your personal statement is important. This is something that if you even Google or you search on YouTube for people who are telling you guys about the guide for writing a personal statement, they will say again and again and again and again. If your first sentence of your personal statement is not catching the reader's eyes, they will set it aside. They will not read it. You will fail without even having a chance to showcase what you're capable of. An example, you can use a quote. You can use a different perspective for something that is generally being done. An example is that I think all men should be. If you write something like that as your first statement, of course the reader is going to be like, what does this person think like all men should be? And she's going to want to find out why you have that perspective of why you think all men should be. An example is that in my personal statement, my first statement was Shijaki bangida. Studying is half the task. First of all, I used a Korean proverb and I wrote it in Korean. So this person was like, does she know Korean? That was the first question. And then the second question was like, she's saying starting is half the task. How is she going to use this proverb in her personal statement? It made her interested in trying to find out why I use this proverb and how I used it in my personal statement. So you can use almost anything. You can use a quote, you can use a lyric from a music, you can use something from a book, you can use your personal experience, you can recount something that happened to you. You can say, in 2020, I got into a car accident and I nearly died. And already someone is interested in learning, like, what have you learned from that experience and how far you have come from that experience. So the very first sentence is very important. Take time, take 20 minutes, take an hour, take 2 days, just deliberating on what your first sentence is going to be. If it's going to be a proverb or a quote, you have to make sure that in the start, since you've mentioned that proverb or a quote, at the end of your personal statement, you wrap it up. For example, in mine, since I said Shijaki bangida, starting is half the task, for the very last sentence, I said it wasn't an easy start, but I believe I have started walking towards my dreams. The start is already half the task. I look forward to your help in achieving the other half. I tied it on with the proverb that I had used at the start of my personal statement. So make sure that you put a very nice conclusion that ties in your very first statement to your very last statement. And then another thing that I want you guys to pay attention to is that when you're writing a personal statement, do not include the things that your documents can speak to you. For example, you're going to submit your transcript, your awards, your article abstracts. Those are the things that they can read for themselves and know about you. In the personal statement, you're going to include things that they cannot make out from the documents. Do not over repeat things that they can easily find out from your transcript. I talked about the fact that I'm learning Korean, and the aim is for me to better understand the Korean language and make me a good recipient of the GKS scholarship. It's going to make me get topic 3 within the first 6 months and make me go to the college sooner than everybody else. So they see me as a good investment because they're not going to be paying 6 more months of tuition for Korean language for me. I'll already be going to the university. So they see me as a good investment. Make yourself a good investment. Talk about things that they cannot see from the documents. Another tip is that do not make your personal statement very long. Here's the thing. You have 2 big documents you're going to write, which is your personal statement and your study plan. They don't want to sit there and read for hours. And another reason why you shouldn't make it long is because you're going to end up repeating the same thing over and over and over again. It becomes repetitive. The guidelines require you to write 3 pages. I wrote a page and a half. This is 1 page, and then this is the second page. 1 page and a half. My personal statement was not long because I felt like I had said what I wanted to say in a page and a half, and I did not need to write 3 pages in order to showcase who I am on paper. So don't make it too long, guys. Another thing that's important is to proofread your personal statement. Other people tell you to ask someone else to read your personal statement for you and kind of like give you guidance and give you tips. Personally, nobody read my personal statement. I wrote it and I finished it on the day that I had to submit it to like DHL and send it over to South Africa. Nobody proofread my personal statement because I just personally believe like I don't want to hear second opinions from somebody else. The only person who can talk about myself best is me, and I feel like any tip that I receive from people will just cloud my judgment. So I personally did not receive any feedback from other people. But if you're the type of person who second guesses themselves and is uncertain about a lot of things, get a second opinion. They will help you proofread your statement, and if you have any spelling or grammar mistakes, they can point those out to you. Grammar mistakes make you seem as if you're not educated enough to receive the scholarship, so avoid them as much as possible. Now, this is the biggest and probably the one that I want to tell you guys. It is that your personal statement should be a book. It should have a storyline. For example, mine was starting is half the task. In everything that I wrote, I showcased the fact that it was hard to start something, but I ended up starting it and I achieved success. My application to the scholarship was me starting something, and it was half the task. And getting accepted would be finalization of that task and would be me succeeding. That was the storyline. So your personal statement should have a storyline. And if it is from an experience you've had, if it is from a book you've had, it has to have a storyline. That is the most important thing. It should be concise. It should have flow. It shouldn't be like you wrote each paragraph differently or separately and you put them all together to a point where it doesn't make sense. It should naturally flow into the next chapter, the next paragraph, and it should be like a book. I don't know if that one makes sense, but in my head, I'm thinking that some people will start by saying, "Hi, my name is Montanawa," and you would think that is a story. You should captivate the reader and make them want to keep on reading your personal statement to find out the next thing that you're going to say in your next paragraph. And then finally, you should lie. I know most people are going to tell you guys, don't lie on your personal statement. Don't lie on your personal statement, but you should lie. But I'm not saying lie generally. I mean specifically to your motivation for applying for the scholarship or your motivation for coming to Korea. Here's the fact. 40% of the people who apply for the scholarship are not doing it because they want to come and study. They probably want to do it because they love K-pop. They love K-dramas. They just want to experience Korea, and the only choice that they have is the scholarship. So if you're someone who knows that you are truly and factually motivated by those things to come to Korea, please lie. Please lie. Because if you are applying to Harvard for a scholarship, you would not say Taylor Swift is your motivation, right? You would not say that. So it should also not make sense for you to say BTS is my motivation, Blackpink is my motivation, VIX, carrots, 17. Like, none of it should make sense to you. You should never ever write that down on your paper, because you will get rejected the instant they see your mention of that. You're gone. You're gone. So if that is your true motivation, please lie. Please lie. Look for a significant experience in your life that is kind of scholarly and put that out as your motivation. Start looking for a motivation now that is not K-pop, K-drama, or just Korea motivated. Okay? Those are my tips, guys. Those are my tips. I was trying to come up with tips that you will not ordinarily find in other videos, or that you will not find if you just look up on Google. And those are the ones that I can mention to you guys. Honestly, a personal statement should just be that, personal. It should leave you with a feeling like if someone read this, they would understand who you are without the need to like interview you. It should be personal. It should be emotional sometimes. I mean, other people cannot do emotional stuff, but it should be almost a heart-wrenching book. It's not fantasy, it's not thriller, it's just a documentary, I guess. I guess the documentary, a
Oh, now you can't speak English.
A biography is a fictional biography, if I can call it that. It should leave the reader with the thought that, wow, this person has to come to Korea. So if you're proofreading your personal statement and it does not say that to you, please read it again. I'm going to end this video over here. In the next video, I'll be reading you guys my study plan and also telling you guys the tips on how to write a good study plan. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!